watch other guys perform yourself. We have 2 home games that day, I think baseball and lacrosse, so be sure to support those guys and then come over to Centennial Hall, 7 to 9. Coffee house.
Yeah, so lacrosse plays BL at home at 4:15. That's a huge game. Barbecue Club will be there for that. And then baseball is at 4 at home as well. So there's a bunch going on Friday. Make sure to come out for that.
Yeah, the Gilman concert is tomorrow, so you'll have groups of middle school and Gilman will teach performing. Upper school groups like the Blue Club and Traveling Men, great to come out. And I think the taxi bar as well. So 7 to 9 tomorrow. Thank you.
All right, any other announcements?
I've got one.
Mr. Smythe.
Thanks. I think most people know, because of the news and general awareness, today marks the 50th anniversary of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. So 2 things on that front. One, I recommend or highly encourage all of you to read about that event in his life. I know most of us know a significant amount, but we're really all standing on the shoulders of his work and the work of people like him. So I recommend that you take advantage of this moment to learn more about his life and impact. And I would ask, before I turn things over to Mr. Hastings, that we take a brief moment of silence in recognition of the life that he gave for all of us. Thanks, Mr. Hastings. Tomorrow, after the 4th period, we're going to come back here. Please sit in your regular seats. Unless you have an athletic obligation and you're released early, you should be here. Everybody should be here starting at 2:25, and we will get it done by 3:30, 3:35. Okay? We're seeing a one-man play called Incognito. I think you'll find it entertaining, thought-provoking, and see everybody here tomorrow after 4th period, right in the same seat. Thanks.
Mr. Hastings.
All right, please join me in welcoming to the podium today's senior speaker, Charlie Finnerty.
I have never been an athlete by any measure. Pretty much as soon as athletics were a part of my life in middle school or lower school and rec leagues, it was very clear to me that I was not going to be successful on any field or court. While playing soccer in lower school, coaches would yell at me from the sidelines for watching the ball go by my feet. When I played basketball in 6th grade, the coach, Mr. Little, would have to spend 15 minutes of one-on-one time before each game, basically reminding me that I was taller than every kid on the court and could reach up and grab the ball pretty easily. Finally, when I came to Gilman freshman year, Mr. Gaby asked me to come to volleyball tryouts before the school year started because he had seen my older brother play at BL. However, I don't think I lived up to his expectations because I was the first kid to be cut from the JV team. After that, despite my friend Liam Yuli's offers to help me get better and try out again the next year, I made a crucial decision. It was clear to me that I was not going to stand out as an athlete, so I stopped worrying about how well I was going to do and stopped taking myself so seriously. Now, I'm sure giving up on sports is something that is unimaginable by many people in this room, and to others it's very familiar. For me, it was in many ways a huge weight off my shoulders as I was able to admit to myself that it just wasn't for me. And more importantly, I learned a very valuable lesson of being able to laugh at myself. The epitome of this was my brief career as a member of Gilman's JV hockey program my sophomore and junior years. In the past, that would have been something that would have given me a lot of stress and anxiety as I prepared to get on the rink for the first time with mostly older kids that I didn't know. However, now that I accepted that I was not going to see any real success and didn't take myself seriously, I was able to have fun and enjoy my mistakes. I remember spending the first 2 weeks of practices skating back and forth across the middle of the rink while everyone else did drills. I then moved on to struggling with hopping over the wall, skating with a stick in my hand, and eventually joining the rest of the team in actual practice. I cannot say that I improved as a player past that point, but I definitely enjoyed the time on the team because I was able to make fun of myself alongside my friends, teammates, and coaches. By finally accepting that I was never going to stand anywhere near an Olympic stage, I found that I genuinely enjoyed failing at hockey. Letting myself give up on sports also allowed me to put more time into other hobbies and passions that I actually cared about, mostly music. Through my years at Gilman, I have grown as a musician. I've written music and I've played shows in dive bars and small stages across Baltimore. By putting my focus and time into music, I've also made many of my closest friends today through common interests. However, I also think as an underclassman at Gilman, I made the mistake of being very judgmental and dismissive towards kids that played sports. I think a lot of kids that don't share mainstream interests, whether that be sports or popular music or whatever, tend to be really judgmental without realizing that it's pretty hypocritical. The same kids that complain about being judged for not having those interests will turn around and make fun of the kids that do. I was definitely guilty of this, and I'm sure many people in my class, like Doug and Hap, can attest to that. Once I realized how stupid it is to judge the people that the same way I'd felt I had been being judged, it became clear, I became much closer with my friends who I did not have much in common with. I think it's really important to have a diverse group of friend groups so you don't put yourself in a box socially. Especially in my senior year, I feel like an idiot for not growing those friendships earlier. Looking back at my time at Gilman as it comes to a close, I cannot imagine how different my experience would have been if I had taken myself seriously. Being able to relax and not worry about how people think about me for my interests or non-interests is definitely liberating. I'm glad I stopped wasting time with something I knew I wouldn't succeed at and instead focused on more productive passions. Whether it be music, writing, theater, or sports, spend time doing the things that you actually care about and enjoy. Anything else is a waste of time. However, the most important lesson I could give the students in the class below me is to not let yourself get stuck spending with time with people that are just like you. Thank you.